Hello, my name is Tyler. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be a vlog of some sort. I am hoping that it will be a Bookopoly vlog, as I hope to play that through the month of September by Becca and Books, I believe. I'll put the link in the description. Anyways, I'm hoping to do that. However, I've been on vacation. I literally just got home today. I have not even filmed the closing to my wrap up yet just because things have been crazy and I'm tired. And we were in the car for a few hours today, so like it just wasn't gonna happen. So I am hoping to get a chance to film my wrap up stuff tomorrow. And I'm hoping to look at the Bookopoly stuff a little more closely and figure out if that will work for me. However, I am gonna DNF the Sarah Gailey book that I am working on. I started When We Were Magic as something to read like on my phone and in the car on vacation, and I am just struggling to connect with and read it. It's probably going to be softy enough, like it hasn't been sitting on my TBR or anything, but I have basically read everything else by Sarah Gailey. This is basically the last Sarah Gailey book I have to read besides stuff in the like hippo universe. I read the first book of that, just not really my cup of tea, and I don't have any desire to continue reading about hippos. But I would like to eventually read this book. It's just not working for me currently. And I think part of that is I'm just reading a whole bunch of other things right now. So I'm gonna DNF When We Were Magic for the time being, and I'll eventually pick it up at some other point. I do want to touch on the other things I'm currently reading. As far as I know, none of these go towards any Bookopoly things. Basically, when I actually finish a book, I will do my first roll. Oh, you know what? I'm also gonna DNF Monsters by Barry Windsor Smith. I have the book upstairs. It's a huge graphic novel. It's like about World War II, Nazi genetic mutations or something. I don't know. I didn't get very far into it, and just seeing it on my currently reading list, and after not reading it for probably a week at this point, I don't want to pick it up again. So I'm gonna DNF that too, which my husband said I was probably gonna hate the book anyway, so I was just trying it, if it was something I was interested in or not. And I have decided I'm not. Right this second. You saw me make the decision. Otherwise, I am reading Black Hole by Charles Burns. This is like a cosmic horror graphic novel I saw on like an intro to cosmic horror blog post or something. I like some of the body horror stuff that's going on. I just don't know if like cosmic horror / like Lovecraftian horror is necessarily my favorite. So, you know, it'll probably be like 3 stars or something. But I'm making my way through that. I'm also reading Sandy Hook by Elizabeth Williamson. I'm listening to this as an audiobook, and I think that was probably the wrong choice. It's a very long audiobook. And I'm not like loving it, but also starting it on vacation was probably the wrong decision, but it had checked out to me right before we left for vacation. It was 16 hours long, and it seemed like a good thing to have, as something that downloads offline. I didn't have to worry about internet connection and stuff like that. So I don't know how I feel about that one. And then Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology. Started this on vacation as well, and I am loving this. I am like 40% through, I think, and really enjoying it. I can't think of another anthology that has been this strong from the start. Maybe Love When the World Ends. What is the Indigiqueer anthology I read this year? That was a pretty strong one too. But I think this one might be even stronger. There's only been one story that like I actively like just did not like. And it wasn't even like I hate this. It just was like just kind of washed over my brain. Anyway, so I'm hoping to finish that very soon. And once I do, then I will roll and do Bookopoly. But I just wanted to check in on things. I will talk to you in the next clip. Bye. Hello, it is September 2nd and I have finished my first book of the month. I finished Black Hole by Charles Burns. I have been reading this for a little bit. I think I talked about this already a little bit, so I'm gonna try and keep it short. It was listed as kind of like an intro to cosmic horror. I was in the mood for a graphic novel because I have not been reading as many of them this year. So I decided to give it a shot. 3 stars. It is not my thing. There were some interesting body horror elements that I enjoyed visually, but overall I don't feel like I really understood or got this book. I think it might be 2 things. I don't really know if cosmic horror slash Lovecraftian horror is really my thing in general. I did read Lovecraft Country a few years ago, and like I really liked the first half and then hated the second half. So I'm just not sure if it's the genre for me. But the other thing is I'm starting to think that horror does not work as well for me in graphic novel form. There is something about reading a horror book and creating the images in your own head that seems to work better for me than reading a horror story in a graphic novel. While I feel like sometimes if there's a really intense picture, my reaction can be a little bit stronger in the graphic format, but I don't know if like the tension or the horror-ness of it really hits me in quite the same way as if I was reading a horror book. So I'm not really sure if I want to keep trying horror genres in graphic novel format or not. But that's kind of my thinking on it. So with this being the first book of September finished, I am going to do Becca's Bookoplathon Bookopoly. I'm gonna film a separate clip of me rolling and whatnot, and then I'll come back and tell you what book I have picked. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so I have done all the rolling and whatnot. The dice gave me a 5, so that put me on the spring spot. So I'll show you. There's me, and then there's spring. I decided to game the system a little bit because the thumbnail that Goodreads shows me for the book Magma by, I cannot pronounce this very Swedish name, Thora Hjorlifdotter. I'm sure that H is probably silent and that O is pronounced differently. Anyways, Magma. I'll put a thumbnail here. Has like flowers and things all over the cover. So I'm going to use that as my spring book. That is not the cover that I personally own of this book, but I am still trying to prioritize reading library books and books that I personally own. And books that are on my TBR. Especially for this first one, just because I have done no planning. I need to look at some other lists and stuff. I think there are groups and things where you can get ideas for certain prompts. So we'll see. Hopefully there will be better planning for the next roll, but overall I'm not too upset with what I got. Spring is like maybe not the most exciting for me, but The fact that I can manage to fit in a book that I own is great for me. And it was something I had been thinking about recently that I kind of wanted to read. Yep. So I will talk to y'all when I have something to say about another book. All right, bye. Good morning. It is September 5th, and I haven't checked in a few days. But before I check in about the book that I just finished, I thought I would show you our new potential family member. So let me flip you around. This is Fable. We are fostering her for a couple weeks to see if she is a good fit with our very large pet family. She's very sweet. A little nervous, so that's been a little bit of a struggle, but we got her, today's Monday, Saturday afternoon we brought her home. She's much bigger than all the other animals that we have, but she's very sweet, so she might be sticking around. So far we haven't had any problems, just besides her being a little fearful, I guess. She mostly just like lays. And if she wants to be a couch potato dog, that's totally fine with us. But we're just trying to make sure that she's not going to have more energy when she gets comfortable. So we'll see how things go. Oh, my battery's dead. Hello, it is September 5th. And I have finished a book. I have finished reading Magma by Thora Horleif's daughter. I described this as being Swedish, I believe. It's actually, the author is actually Icelandic. This is a book about an abusive relationship. I'll read the back. 20-year-old Lilia, maybe, is in love. A university student, she was smitten with the intelligent, beautiful classmate who quotes Deirdre, reads Latin, and cooks balanced vegetarian meals. Quickly, she moved in with him, living in his cramped apartment surrounded by sour towels and flat Diet Cokes. As the newfound intimacy of sharing a shower and a bed fuels her desire to please her partner, his quiet and pervasive manipulations start to unravel her. With clarity and restraint, Horleif's daughter sheds light on the undercurrents of violence that so often go undetected in romantic relationships. She deftly illustrates the failings of our culture in recognizing symptoms of cruelty, and in powerful prose depicts the unspooling of a tender-hearted woman desperate to love well. Really like this. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't quite love the ending, but I really like how this was written. It was super quick to read. I read it in under 24 hours. I started it last night and read like the first half and then finished the second half this morning. It is written from Lilia's perspective, and the chapters are so quick and short, and they're all kind of like about a specific thing. There's one chapter I really just liked, and it's really short, so I think I'll read it to you. And it's titled Balance. I've always tried to be a good person, and I'm pretty sure I used to be, but these days I have nothing to give, nothing to say. I'm here, but I'm completely lost. My parents taught me that patience, empathy, and hard work were key to a happy life. If I treated people with kindness, everything would turn out fine. But now I find that I've become emotionally bankrupt, having given away much more than I ever had to begin with. So like most of the chapters are like 1 or 2 pages long. And like the longest one is maybe 5 pages. Like they're not really long. And the font is like relatively large. I just really liked it. It is one of those internal books. It worked for me. Besides the end just being like, I don't know, it felt maybe just a hair rush, and I maybe just like did not like the event at the end. Overall, I really liked this. It was really just interesting look at how this woman found herself in this relationship. And you know, it's interesting. in reading that plot description on the back, how much information is given about the boyfriend, where like he is in this obviously, but like it's kind of hard to describe him as a character really, because it reads almost like these entries in Lilia's diary almost. Like she's not addressing it as a diary, but it's her thoughts, it's her internal thing, it's her relationship with herself within this relationship with her boyfriend. I don't know, it's really interesting. I enjoyed it. I will be keeping this. It is a soft touch paperback, which that alone makes me want to keep. I think it's a beautiful cover. I just really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's necessarily something I will reread, but you never know. You never know. I will also say I liked this enough that I looked up Thora Leafsdottir, to see if she had any other English works, and it does not look like it. And it doesn't look like she's published any other standalone novels. I don't know, when was this published? It was originally published in 2019, so it wasn't that long ago. It looks like maybe the English one came out in 2021. So maybe there's more on the way. I really liked it. I would be interested in picking up something by her again, but everything else seemed to be short stories and only in Icelandic. So I'll wait for a novel of some sort to make its way to America. Otherwise, that's really all I have to say about this. I did my second roll for Bookopoly, and I'll be reading Without a Prayer, I think is what it's called. That cult book I bought actually at the same time as I bought this. So wherever my Harvard book sale vlog is, I did a haul in that, and I bought those books at the same time. So I'll be reading that next. The prompt was buildings on the cover, and there was a church building on the cover. So I guess it says buildings plural, but I think a building is fine. As I said, I'm not like playing strict and hard. It's mostly just a little bit of fun to pick my next book. Anyways, I will see y'all when I have something to say. Bye. Hello, it is September 6th, I think. I didn't bring my phone with me, so I can't double check. It is the next day. So anyways, I finished listening to Sandy Hook by Elizabeth Williamson. Oh my gosh, I should have brought my phone with me. This is a nonfiction book about the conspiracy theory, basically, that Sandy Hook did not happen. I picked this up because when the Alex Jones trial was going on for damages, I saw some people talking about this book. So when I looked at some reviews, like 3-star reviews, they talked about how this was much more about Alex Jones, and that's not like what they wanted. They wanted to hear more from the families. That's not necessarily my difficulty with this book, because I'm also going to give it 3 stars. I knew that this was going to be about Alex Jones. I think where I struggled with this was a couple of different things. One, I probably should have read it. I listened to it in audio form, and I started it while I was on vacation, and both of those things were probably the wrong decision. I think overall I probably should have read this, but I didn't. So there's that. The other thing is, like, this almost felt like 2 different books to me. Like, one was about the families of Sandy Hook, and one was about the conspiracy theory side of the internet, and how that movement was built, specifically like focusing on Alex Jones. And they didn't quite mesh for me. I don't know like what would have made this work better for me besides reading it. I'm still not sure though that this would have been a book that I would have loved even if I read it. So there's that. I just don't know if this author's writing style necessarily connected with me. Also, I think what I was kind of looking for out of this book, I probably would have been better served not reading this book and instead finding more of like a timeline of the things that happened between, or like from Sandy Hook to Alex Jones's trial. I feel like there was just like a lot of different threads of things going on, and I only cared, that's a harsh way to put it, but like there was only one part of it that I was really interested in, and that's why I was reading the book, if that makes sense. So it is what it is. I gave it 3 stars. I will probably roll again here soon, just probably not today. I am only working on 1 book, but I think I would rather just kind of read that this evening and then see how I feel tomorrow. But otherwise I'll see you with a check-in about Bookopoly, I suppose. Bye. Hello. It is September 7th. We have reached the end of the vlog. We are in a different location because I did not want to go into the basement and my camera was already up here. So it's the last day of the vlog and I have finished one last book. I finished Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology edited by Vince A. Leguano and Rena Mason. This is genuinely one of the best anthologies I have ever read. Almost every anthology I read ends up being like 3 stars. There's like maybe 1 or 2 stories I end up liking, and the rest are just kind of like, eh. So I bought this for vacation because an anthology seemed like a good thing to bring on vacation, and I wanted to read more horror authors and get a taste of things like that. And I just think the cover is beautiful. Anyways, it ended up being a resounding success, especially because my favorite, most of my favorite stories were in the first half of the book, which I read on vacation. So I had such a great time on vacation reading good things. So I rated all of them as I read, and then I did the average, which came out to 3.6 stars. However, I ended up giving it a 4.5 on Goodreads, so that got rounded up to 5, just because overall, if I counted all the 4.5 and 5-star stories in this, there were 8 of them out of the 24. And I have never read such a largely good anthology. That doesn't even include, there were 4-star ones in there too. That doesn't even include that. Like, I think probably half of this book of stories were 4 stars and up. So like, it was a really great reading experience. So I'll talk about the ones that I liked the most. I'll just talk about the 5-star ones, and then any other thoughts I have. Churn the Unturning Tide by Annie Neugebauer. This is about a pregnant woman who has joined a water aerobics class, and it's very interesting. It's kind of hard to get into details with short stories because they are short, so like if you tell too much, they tell the whole story, and I don't want to do that. But it is mostly, this water aerobics class is mostly with older women, so there's like some interesting dynamics in that and just interesting stuff going on in this water aerobics class. Another one was The Turning by Haley Piper, which let me double check and make sure it's the one I think it is. Yes. So The Turning is about a teenage girl who is experiencing the curse, and it's told over 9-ish weeks, I think. And it tells like what is happening to her body over the course of these weeks, how the curse is affecting her relationship and her relationship with her parents, as well as like her understanding of her place in society, and what she is turning, like what her body is turning into is just wild. Like I've talked about, I love some body horror, and there is, yes, I loved it. I had so much fun reading that one. And then the last 5-star one was Miss Infection USA by Shanna Heath. This is about a beauty contest of reanimated zombie women. They died and then they came back to life, and no one quite knows like why this is happening, but they're in a beauty contest. It's all these people, and it was just wild. I'm not really like a zombie person, but this was like different enough from like zombie tropes that I actually had a really good time reading it. And that was the last 5-star read. I also had a couple of 4.5 and 5-star or 4-star reads. I will also say there's a story in here by S.A. Cosby, who I've never read from before, but I did give his story 4.5 stars, and I definitely will be checking out more of his works in the future. I'm not sure if I don't think the other works are horror, but I learned he's from Virginia, and I know Razor Blade Tears is very popular. People love, talk about, etc. So I'll be checking out more from him because I really liked What Blood Hath Wrought. Yeah, so I ended up really enjoying my time reading this. I've started following a couple of these authors on Twitter, ones that had highly rated stories for me, so I can kind of keep tabs on things. A lot of these ones are mostly like short story authors, so I don't know how much more of their work I'll be consuming if they're like only writing short stories, because like I said, anthologies tend to like not be great for me, but we'll see. So that's the last book I read this week. Oh, I forgot my Bookopoly board. I should go get that, because I definitely want to start a second book, and so I will go get the Bookopoly board and we'll roll. So this will be my third roll for Bookopoly. If you've missed the other 2 rolls, there should be 2 other short 5-minute long videos of me rolling, but now that I only have 1 book that I am actively reading, having finished Other Terrors, I can tell I'm gonna need a second book. So we will roll for that, and hopefully something that I am interested in will become available. So let's see. It's gonna 11. That's a big one. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, TBR game. I will have to check what that is. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off because it's been recording for a while, and I'll get back to you when I figure out what TBR game is. Okay, so TBR game spot is I am supposed to copy another person's TBR game and pick a book that way. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Mostly because I don't want to. This is enough TBR game for me, so I'm gonna use this as like a free space maybe. You know what, actually I will randomize my TBR and I'll see what comes up, which is what the go space also is, so I'll just have that. So let's see what my TBR randomized is. And I just realized I can't randomize it on my phone, so let's travel to the living room. You're going to be at a very weird angle because I don't have anywhere to prop you up because my tripod is not here. Alright, I actually had to update my TBR to add some books that were sitting on my TBR shelf, but not on Goodreads yet, so we will randomize now. If I can find it. Let's see. Black Klansmen, Race Hate, and the Undercover Investigation of a Lifetime. Okay, I think this has been sitting on the TBR since 2019, so that seems like maybe a good pull. I feel like I want to listen to this in audio form, so I'm going to check my libraries to see if that's possible. Really, Tiger Cat? Yes. Oh, and it's only 6 hours long. That will be an easy peasy listen. Well, I don't know about easy necessarily. It probably seems like it will be a mentally, emotionally difficult listen, but not time-wise. I added this to the TBR when I had finally watched the movie a few years back. So, yes. So, that will be my randomized / TBR game. So, to finish off the vlog here, I have my stats for the week. I have finished 4 books this week. Black Hole by Charles Burns, Magma by Thora Horleaf's Daughter, Sandy Hook, An American Tragedy, and The Battle for Truth by Elizabeth Williamson, and Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology by Vince A. Liaguano and Rena Mason. I think the anthology one was the best. Yes, that was a 5-star read. And Black Hole was probably my least favorite, even though it was only 3 stars, so it wasn't like bad or anything. Just the one I'll probably think about the least. Anyways, so that's been my first week in the Bookopoly readathon. Read 4 books, although I guess only one of them was technically for the readathon at this point, but I have done some rolling. I am now working on 2 books for the bookathon. Readathon. I will see y'all next week. Bye!